What's up, guys? Welcome back to Give a Shift. Welcome back to the weekly show. This is where we talk about automotive news, our reveals, rumors, anything like that here on the show. It's supposed to come out every Monday. I've been slacking a little bit, but all well. We are back here today, and we are about to talk about one specific car that has just come out in the last couple of hours, actually, since at the time of this video that I'm filming it, anyway. And it's a pretty monumental car, been rumored for a long time. So let's get into today's show. All right, guys. First thing we are talking about, and the only thing we're talking about actually today, is the new Corvette ZR1. Now, this car has been rumored for a very long time. There have been very many test mules spotted, wearing all sorts of camouflage at the ring, even with some weird exhaust things going on to keep the noise level down, with giant spoilers, everything in between. This car has been highly anticipated for the last couple of months, even years, since there were some rumors saying that they were actually going to make a ZR1 for this generation. Because you guys don't know, they actually don't make a ZR1 for every Corvette generation. I think this is the fourth one they've made. I think it's the fourth. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's the fourth one. Anyway, so ZR1 has broken cover. It has been unveiled in Dubai. They did unveil it in Dubai, which I thought was kind of weird, but apparently that's a new market that they're really trying to tap into out there, that the Corvette is really like starting to expand that brand out there. So they did unveil it there. It is a brand new car, same chassis, and actually same engine, the 6.2 liter, but they did update it and now call it the LT5. We all thought it may be a dual overhead cam, but it is not. It's sticking with that same, it's basically the same thing as the LT4 and the Z06, but slightly different technology in there. Now, speaking of that technology, they have done some direct injection things and port injection. Both of those have now been implemented in this new version of this 6.2 liter V8. And not only that, they also have a brand new supercharger. So apparently this supercharger is about 52% bigger than the LT4s, the one out of the Z06. That is probably one, to help with more power, obviously, but also to help with heat management. That's a huge thing that the Z06 had some problems with, some heat soaking issues, things like that at the track. That was a very big issue for them, and Corvettes have always had that issue, but we'll come back to that. Back to the supercharger, though. It is a larger supercharger by 52%, like I said. The old one was, I believe, a 1.9 liter blower. So this one's a little bit over a 2 liter blower. And this new engine and everything, all this technology put together, direct injection, blah, 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 it all makes 755 horsepower and over 700 foot-pounds of torque. That is a lot of power. Whole lot of power. Now all this power will be put through the drive line, through to the wheels, via either an 8-speed automatic transmission, that same one that's in the Z06 that has apparently been upgraded to make it, one, handle more power, and two, shift a lot faster. Either that or a 7-speed manual. That is right. They still have a manual transmission in this car, which I will assume most of the enthusiasts will probably go after. I'm still kind of disappointed they still did an automatic, but whatever. They're still pushing this new 8-speed. Yeah. So, two transmission choices, 8-speed or 7-speed manual. And it will be rear-wheel drive, just like every other Corvette ever. And yeah, the rear tires will be 355 section tires. They will come on a standard Michelin Pilot Super Sport, run flats, normal ones. But you have the optional Sport Cup 2s from Michelin that are very sticky, probably even Corvette spec. Apparently those are crazy sticky, and I think even AMG got their hands on that spec tire. Regardless, fat, sticky rubber, whole lot of power that rubber is going to need to put down. And another thing that this car is very big on, as you can probably tell from the photos, is aero. Now, it has a giant spoiler in the back, huge. And apparently this car will make a peak of almost 950 pounds of downforce with all that aero bits. It has a giant front splitter, has a giant rear wing, has some kind of cool canards and things, probably some underbody work going on too. So this car has a lot of power, but it's very focused on aero to put all that power down, not just, tires and things, also aero grip, not just mechanical grip. So yeah, this thing is going to be a monster on the track. I'm very excited to see what kind of lap times it puts down in comparison to some other cars. But that is not all. Interior is very nice, has very nice Napa leather seats that is heated and cooled and all that fun things. Very nice interior, carbon bits everywhere. I'm kind of happy that they're kind of sprucing up this interior. I mean, a lot of people really love the interior. I personally really didn't. I felt like it was going to get old very quickly. Maybe with all these new things, it'll stand the test of time. Who knows? We will see. There has been no pricing set for this just yet officially. The base Stingray starts at $53K. The Z06 starts at $80. So we're guessing that the new ZR1 is probably going to start somewhere around like 110, 115, 120. The old C6 started at about 105. And yeah, so we're guessing this one's going to be a little bit more expensive. But regardless of that, it's still going to be a very, very lethal track weapon here. Interesting thing to note though, they've put some Multimatic spool valve shocks on a couple different cars. Now they had this on the ZL11LE, a very lethal track weapon as well, same engine as the Z06 in fact. But this car has normal, I don't know what you'd really call normal, but just normal coilover type double wishbone suspension. It doesn't have anything dual, spool valve or anything like that craziness. It's just normal again suspension going on, which I'm kind of curious to see why exactly they did that. Especially because they've also put it on their little mini truck, their little like kind of mini Raptor fighter type deal, but not on their top of line sports car, supercar, whatever you want to call it. I don't really think the Corvette's a sports supercar, but that is for another video. But yeah, kind of interesting things. Why they didn't put that very expensive trick suspension on it, I don't really understand. But whatever, I'm sure it's still going to be just as fast with or without them. My question to you though, guys, about all of this, with all this news and with this car, is it seems as if Chevy is making like a Viper ACR fighter here. With all this aero, all this power, has much more power than a Viper, has over 100 more horsepower than a Viper, but it's very aero focused. It has all these track oriented things. So I would love to see it set lap times on the same tracks that ACRs have broken these lap records on. I'd love to see what it puts down on the Nürburgring, things like that. So my question to you is, which would you rather have, the ACR or the ZR1? See, the ACR is a very lethal track weapon that has been proven on multiple tracks. I believe it broke 13 track records. And it set a very respectable time at the ring. I believe it was like a 7:04 or 7:03 or something like that. Really, really low numbers. A very, very quick car and very aero focused as well. That thing is just a track weapon. Whereas this car is basically the same thing with a little bit more power. So we'll see how that plays out with this car. I really hope that they actually did a very good job on this car. The Z06 seems to be very good, but there was a lot of journalists and people complaining about heat soak issues and things like that. But again, with this car, they made a bigger blower, so it'll manage heat a little bit better with that too. A lot more space in the front that they kind of freed up for more airflow and radiators and things like that to really move a lot of air through that big engine that is going to get very hot. So I really hope they kind of dealt with all of that. That's always been kind of the Corvette weak point, is that there's not a whole lot of real estate in that front area. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a whole lot of space for air to be moving through. So I hope this car, I'm sure it's going to be amazing. So I'm very excited to see what this car puts down for lap times and things like that. So yeah, that's my question to you guys. Let me know in the comments down below, which would you rather have, a Dodge Viper ACR or a ZL1? And explain. I'm curious to see you guys' thoughts. Anyway, guys, I believe that is all I have for you today. Comment down below if that's if that's what you like doing. Smash that like button if that's something you're into, and subscribe for more videos coming very soon. And I will see you guys on the next video. My name's Thomas. This is Give Shift, guys. See you next time. Peace.